But family is a word and concept like love. Although it's central, foundational to human experience, it's really not so easy to define once you try to put it into words. This morning, with this activity and with our picnic, we are joining people in 258 cities and towns and 78 countries around the world participating in Family Equality Day, which has been happening on the first Sunday in May since it started in Switzerland in 2012. And central to our practice of our tradition of Unitarian Universalism is the idea that there is no such thing as a lesser person. And that being so, there can be no such thing as a lesser family if families are made up of people. Unfortunately, there are some people who don't understand that yet, which is why it's important that we join in the celebration of Family Equality Day. And I hope the Family Equality Bingo got you thinking about all the different ways we can think about family. Because family is one of those words or concepts that we always think we know. It seems so simple, so easy. There's a model, a definition. You can look it up online. And if you still own a dictionary, you could probably use one of those. But family is a word and concept like love. Although it's central, foundational to human experience, it's really not so easy to define once you try to put it into words. We know what love feels like when it's present and when it's absent. But it's so big and complex, not something to define concisely and simply. I love ice cream, which I do. It's not the same as I love my partner, I love my child, or the same as I love walking my dog. But it's all love. And I use love as an example because I think love and family are very intertwined, especially for me. Even after that family bingo game, think about this for a second. These are the 3 questions that opened a training I took on family ministry, which I've actually taken twice, I think. And it opened with these 3 questions both times. What makes a family? What are the necessary components of a family? Are there limits to what can be called family? Think about that. My answer to the first 2 included people and love. That as I thought about it, what I started thinking about was, well, a group of people that love each other. And if there are any limits to what can be called a family, it's the absence of love among people. And even this seems terribly incomplete. But that was the point of the opening exercise. That just as there can be an infinite variety in human beings, there supposedly could be an infinite variety of what we consider family, especially our family. I think love is central for me because if it's present, I think you can make it family. And even in families that are really difficult, or you got a person in your family, whether it's a family of choice or a family of origin, whatever the family is, if there's someone in that family that's difficult, what makes it difficult is love. Maybe there's love missing, or maybe there's love one way but not the other way in the relationship. So I don't know, it really gets you to think when you stop. And because that really stops us, it becomes all the more awful that there are people who think they can tell other people what their family is and what it can and can't be. That just seems so horrible. I think many of us have a baseline of understanding family that whether or not we intellectually agree with it is based on an outdated stereotype. 2 cisgender heterosexual adults with biological child or children Actually, 2.4 biological children. And this model is faulty enough because we know there are families that are different. But compounding this error in family modeling is that the cis heterobiological adult parents are usually imagined as white and blonde and wealthy and living in a home that they own with 2 cars and a driveway and a garage in a suburban neighborhood with a lawn in the backyard. And they pay for all of this with the income from one of the adults, while one of the adults stays home with children and the yard and the dog and picking up after the 0.4 of a person. But it's all a grand illusion. Not just of family, but of life. And as much as we intellectually understand this is an illusion, that illusion is powerful. And breaking down the illusion isn't just important in terms of family equality, in terms of justice and equity issues, but also as a community, a congregation, our own concept and practice of family inclusiveness. One of the ways we are expanding our sense of family inclusiveness is by working with people outside our congregational community. You know, part of this was when Sahitnu and Dahlia were in sanctuary here. That's really expanding somebody into where your family lives, into your home. And now we're going to think about ways to do that again by having that community partner be Meriden Pride actually start living in the house with us and expanding our family. And some people might want to tell us that's not your family. We'll say, no, we get to decide who our family is. Thank you very much. And so just to hear a little bit more about Meriden Pride, I wanted people to meet Branddon this morning. And he's just going to say just a little bit about Meriden Pride and what's going on with them and how they started and how they're here. So come on up. How about a huge welcome for Branddon? Because he and his partner Julian have been workhorses for getting Meriden Pride off the ground and establishing a community, which we know as people who try to maintain community as a group, it's a lot of work.
Good morning. So, as Reverend said, my name is Branddon Arroyo. I run Meriden Pride with Julian, and we have a committee and everything. So before I get started, I do want to take a moment and express our condolences from Meriden Pride on the loss of your fellow congregate, Bob Muir. And even though I have never gotten to meet him, I've heard that he's a great guy. And I would just like to take a really quick moment to honor his life, and if anybody wants to join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. So on behalf of all of us at Meriden Pride, we just want to thank you all for the support that we've already gotten so greatly already, and allowing us to use this space for today's event with you. And we started Meriden Pride so that members of the community in Meriden, especially in the LGBTQ plus community, could feel welcomed and affirmed and safe here in Meriden. I personally went through a lot of different hate speeches on Meriden Talks. I don't know if you guys all know about Meriden Talks. But I found that it was very hateful stuff going on in there. I mean, even just trying to share national events that were going on, it was just shot down really bad by a lot of people in that group. And then that kind of just got us into the idea of we need to have some kind of pride organization here because everywhere else has one, but we don't have one here. So we decided to start doing that. We started having events. We have every month game nights. We have craft nights at the library. The game nights are at the doghouse. We just started a new adult support group in the library as well. It's called Out in the Open. We meet monthly, so it's open to everybody. You don't have to be part of the community. You could just be an ally and just want to learn more and get to know people. So that's a really great resource as well. This part I had to get on my phone. So for Family Equality Day, all over the world, more and more children are growing up in families where one or both of their parents identify as a member of the LGBTQ plus community. Yet each of these rainbow families has a very different lived equality experience. In some countries, families enjoy equal rights and social recognition, but in many other countries, both parents and their children face overt discrimination and have to live under a constant threat of violence. I think the best way to sum this up is that 2 moms or 2 dads is better than no mom and no dad. You know, I think that as long as you have love and you care for each other, that's a family to me. I mean, I myself was luckier than a lot of kids where my family was very accepting of me. But even in Julian's case, his family had a harder time with it because of their religion. And they still do, but it's better than it was because it's no longer just a phase. So with Meriden Pride, we're hoping that we can find a home with you guys and help the church be more of a destination with the Pride community, LGBTQ plus community. And it would also help us to be more accessible to the public because we'll be in person, not just on the computer. And we really want to partner with you guys to hold more events here other than, like today we have the Family Equality Day event, but things that we have already talked about. We want to host a queer prom here, which we think would be really awesome. Yes, that's what inspired us. And something that we just talked about the other day was having a multicultural food truck festival here as well, so we could celebrate all the different walks of life and their cultures and their food, because who doesn't like different foods? So yeah, I'll be here all day today until our event is over. I hope that a whole bunch of you stay and hang out with us, get to know us. We have more committee members that will be coming today as well. And we're going to have raffles and bingos, and we have gift cards to give away, and all kinds of fun things to do. We have lots of board games and prizes. So I hope that you guys stay and we get to talk. Thank you.
Now, expanding your family to be an extended family is always a growing process, no matter how lovingly you come about it. You know, I think the family I currently have and live with is very different from the one I imagined for myself when I was a young man. You know, I have a partner where we're both in, not our first marriage. I have an adult child living at home with me. My partner's father kind of lives with us in his own mobile in-law apartment because he has an RV, and he just bi-coastal splits his time between children and other family members, so it's kind of cool. We have him a big chunk of the year, and he just lives in his mobile in-law apartment right there next to us in the driveway. And 2 pets, and I never had pets when I was a kid because I was allergic to cats and dogs, and through the miracle of Purina's cat food that diminishes the allergens that affect you, it's tolerable for me, which is really cool. It works, it's amazing. And for some reason, I'm not horribly allergic to pancake, even though some dogs I can still, whatever. So I have this bizarre matched over together family that's just awesome. We never know what's going to be like. Is it all an adjustment period or getting used to our own idea of what family was or our family was? Yeah. And we have people living here. You know how it was to adjust to around having people living in sanctuary. We'll need to adjust to having more people around as part of our family. But as part of that, think about that different types of families deserve to be families in their own way, right? Like, I know part of what we're going to be doing is sharing space in the basement. And that basement was once upon a time, although never since I've been here, keep in mind, religious education space. And we can continue to think of that space as maybe someday, if there's more children, we have to use those rooms again. Well, maybe we might, but it could be that the families and parents and children that are in that new religious education program want to do religious education a different way and won't want that space or use a different space. No, they're going to have to design that with us for themselves. We don't need to fit the model of what will be into the model of what was, right? And one of the things maybe we can do as we learn to live together with Meriden Pride is, in a sense, have more people be in sanctuary here. Have you heard of Pink Haven? Okay, so Pink Haven is a project that was started with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, the Unitarian Universalist Associates, and some other liberal religious partners. And what they do is they find sanctuary. We've honored people in sanctuary before, but Pink Haven is amazing. What they do is they find places for families to stay who are needing to relocate because of anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ laws. So it's not safe for their family to even live in the state where they were living before. And so what they set up is a network of sometimes permanent, sometimes transitionary housing for families. As we go down the road, I don't see the need for this decreasing next week. But maybe what we can do is continue a conversation here with ourselves and with Meriden Pride about what it might look like to say we could offer to be, at the very least, a transitionary place where people could stay till they found permanent place, whether it's in Connecticut or another state. So as we think of what it means, family equality, there are many ways we can expand our own version of that. Even for those of us here, we already consider ourselves accepting and affirming, right? That there's new ways to figure out how to live together with an ever-expanding family. And I hope that's places we can really explore as we go forward. Not that we lose anything, we just gain to it, to what we have, and maybe we rearrange things a little bit. But it sure would be nice to contact that architect and have the need to push that wall back 25 feet. Because everybody can't fit here on Sunday morning. That would be awesome. That's the kind of problem we want to have. So let's not let the fear of what might happen prevent us from doing things we know are the right thing to do. We'll figure a way to do it that works, is what I'm trying to say. And it will all be good, because we want to be that place where families are treated equally with justice and respect and dignity. And our closing song to wrap this up is Teach Your Children. Thanks a lot for watching this video. It would help me out a great deal if you liked the video to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share this video with others, maybe ring that notification bell so you can be informed when we put out other videos like this. Check out my website and blog at tonylorenzen.com for even more resources that will open your mind, touch your heart, and inspire your spirit.